Hello, everyone. We are very welcome to have Jonathan as Norse Carnivore, and let's hear his story now.
Hello, Aviva. Thank you for having me on. It's a great honor to meet you and come on here to tell my story. As she said, my name is Jonathan. I'm a 23-year-old carnivore from Norway. Yeah, I guess let's get into my story. Uh, so, something that's pretty crazy about my story, we'll get to it more later, is that I didn't actually know about this whole carnivore diet thing on the internet when I became carnivore. But yeah, we'll get to that later. So basically, if we go all the way back to when I was little, I think it's important in my story to tell the full thing, kind of. Um, I was always like that kind of quiet kid in class. I didn't really have any confidence. I kept to myself, didn't know how to talk to people. I even had like a lot of anger in me in school, especially. But I think it really just came from me being insecure. I didn't really know what to do with myself because it especially came out in the moments when the focus in class was on me. So I think I just started panicking and didn't know what to do. I even like bit teachers out of anger and got dragged out of class, and it was really bad. Yeah, pretty different to the person you're seeing right now. Uh, but yeah, as I grew, uh, I didn't just grow in height and age. I also grew this way in size. I got pretty fat. I ended up being like the fat kid in class as well. So that didn't really help with my confidence, right? It just made everything worse. And I always, as long as I can remember, I had issues with my gut, like my mental health. I didn't, yeah, didn't have any confidence. And as I got older, all of these things just kept getting worse and worse. And, you get used to it and just start thinking, oh, that's just a normal part of life. That's how it is. I'm just unlucky. Yeah, that's what happens. It's genes or whatever, right? But, and then especially when I came towards the year 2023, that's when everything really hit like rock bottom. It got really bad. Because what happened was I wanted to start trying to lose some weight, and I fell into the whole calorie counting thing. I can see on your face. Yeah, we know how bad that thing can be. Yeah. So, the typical thing, it's the kind of stuff that's in like the dietary guidelines everywhere too, like the low fat, a lot of plants type of thing, some chicken, like lean protein and all that sort of thing. And I'll be honest, it did work. I did lose weight and all of that and actually felt better short term. But then after like some months, I started feeling even worse than I did before. And I have kind of a addictive personality. So when I see this working, right, it's hard for me to stop, and then I keep going and going, even though maybe I should, okay, hand on the brake. Uh, but I didn't. I just kept going, and I started feeling even worse. I started kind of isolating myself from everyone, treating people around me very badly. I was struggling from anxiety and depression and IBS, especially. Those are like the three big things. The depression was to the point where I didn't really want to live anymore. I went to sleep every night just hoping I wouldn't wake up, honestly. Um,
Yeah, I see your reel talking about that. It was like, wow. I did ex also kind of like that, but maybe not that severe. I just it's in it's incredible that how foods really can affects our emotional anger, as you said. I was isolating as you do before, and it was just like,
So common nowadays. And as I said earlier, and like how many people feel, oh, it's just normal because that's what we hear. But this stuff isn't normal. You're not supposed to feel like that. And as you said, it's incredible what food can do. It was all about the food. But yeah, basically, so I started having a lot of like, especially the mental issues. I also like sat on the toilet for like hours a day, like constipation and all that. And that stopped my social life even more because I couldn't really leave the house because I was afraid of something bad happening in the stomach. Maybe like, what if I didn't have a toilet nearby? That would be bad, right? And uh, I started like creating this sort of world inside of my head that I was living inside of my head instead of in real life. And I started like making a character for myself and like making up characters around me and that sort of thing. It was, I don't know what to call it really, because I never had it diagnosed, right? Because my mental health was so bad, I kind of didn't want help, and I was like trying to ruin things for myself. I was trying to make myself feel bad in a way. And I had this thing called what's it called? It's called sleep paralysis, where you wake up and you're like locked to your bed as if someone strapped you tight onto it, and you you like literally can't move. You're stuck. And then I see like dark figures coming over me and that sort of stuff, as if they're trying to take me, right?
I think
So,
that's more like we have that in our traditional creepy saying, which is like
oh, really?
we say ghosts push you in the bed, something like that. It's hard for me to translate, but it sounds like pretty much
Wow,
okay.
that's crazy.
How do you overcome the situations of the symptom that we just talked about?
Yeah, so after all of this, like if we were gonna list everything I struggled with, would be here for a year. But basically, what happened is so late summer in August that year, 2023, what happened was I got like the worst IBS attack of my life. Like I looked pregnant and it felt like raccoons running around in my stomach, just rah, rah, rah. It was really bad, and I couldn't sleep for like I think 2 days maybe. I was hurting so bad and didn't know what to do. And that's when I realized to myself that I seriously have to change something in what I'm eating. This must be something in my diet that I'm not tolerating because I can't keep on living this way. And so the first thing I thought of was, did I eat something that day that I hadn't had in a while? And I realized I hadn't had an apple in so long, and I did that day. And that's the point when I started really listening to my body. And I went like weeks on end. I think maybe it's not so clear to me, like the timing on everything. But when I try to think back, maybe like around 2 months, around that, I like experimented with my diet, took things in and out, and just really tried to pay attention to how my body reacted to the foods. And yeah, basically what happened over these weeks was I noticed for every piece of plant food, if you want to call it food, that I cut out, it seemed like that's where the problem was. Like all those foods were being told, oh, it's so healthy for you, it's the best food for you. Those foods seemed to actually be the cause behind my problems. And then at the end of like my experimenting, the last plant I had in my diet was an avocado, actually. And the day I remember the day I cut it out. It's pretty funny because I had it, I sat down, I made my meal, some I think I had beef and the avocado and some eggs or something. And I went to take a bite of the avocado. Oh, this is gonna be good. And then it tasted awful. Like it just tasted like poison, as if my body was telling me you shouldn't eat this thing. And I just had to throw it away. I couldn't handle the taste. And
Even though
yeah,
that's the foods that people think in a carnivore, some people does introduce the avocado, but it's still not work for you at the time.
yeah, not for me. Yeah, some people seem to go do okay with it, but for me, I just because at this point I've decided I need to just listen to my body and do what it's telling me. So when I feel that horrible taste, I just thought, no, I'm not eating that thing. And then, like within a couple of days from that, I think, is when I suddenly just woke up one day and I just, whoa, why am I feeling so good? Like I slept amazing for the first time in so long, and I just had instant energy, just got up right from my bed, and I think I just went out of the door. I just had to do something. Uh, but I did feel like better and better, of course, like while eliminating things. But that like real kick, like the real energy and happiness didn't didn't actually come until I was 100% carnivore for me.
Wow, what a transitions. And I heard about your story that when you tell your parents, it was like, wow, your
Oh, you've
parents
heard that, yeah.
is
From
accepting it. Yeah, that
yeah.
was makes me feel like, wow.
So basically, in those like first couple of days of this happening, I just suddenly called my parents, and like I hadn't done that because I was in so long because I was so isolated and didn't really talk to someone because of my anxiety and all that. And I suddenly just felt this urge to call my parents, and I told them, so I've been kind of like playing with my diet, and this is what I'm doing right now, and I'm feeling so good. I don't understand what's happening. And their reaction was really just, wow, I can really tell from just listening to your voice and your enthusiasm that you're feeling so much better. So they didn't really have many questions about it because they just noticed like the drastic difference in me. And also, one more thing that probably made it more easy was that my mom apparently, because she goes to like what's it called? I don't remember, like yoga type thing. I don't think that's the exact name, but and many of the people in that community actually eat like a carnivore diet or similar keto sort of thing. So she already knew about a lot of people doing it. And she also had heard about a lot of people online, like uh, I don't know who, but probably on TikTok or something. I don't know, that did the same thing. So she's the one who actually made me aware of the fact that a lot of other people are doing this carnivore thing because I was just doing it out of being desperate and just trying to figure out my gut issues. So that, yeah, that's basically it.
Yeah, very, very. When I hear that story, I was like, I, it's very lonely and very hard to let the people around us to believe what we feel about and what's the diets that really works for us, because a lot of people does the regular diet worked for them or they just don't want to commit. We don't judge with that, but we have the decisions. I want to feel best. I want to feel good. I don't want to feel bloating, all kind of things. So, how long have you been carnivore diet, and what are the non-carnivore foods do you have? Because sometimes people have coffee and etc. Did you do that? Mhm.
Okay, so I've been carnivore for about like 1.5 years now. And as for other carnivore foods, in the beginning, I did have coffee, as many do. But then I think 2 times. First, I randomly cut it out without knowing. I'd gone a couple of days without realizing I had it, and I kept going. And then, as many do, fall back on the coffee. And then, but then a couple of months after that, again, I decided to cut it out because I knew I did actually feel much better not having it in. So now I'm coffee free. Other than that, no, I really just eat red meat, a lot of lamb and goat because I have local farmers that I buy from, and I like that more than beef myself. And some eggs maybe, and butter, and fish. I really like fish.
Mhm. The more I'm healing, I will introduce back the fish because I do feel the not as satiated when I eat fish. Ruminant is more satiated,
Hmm.
and but I cannot tolerate eggs. We'll
Oh.
see. Maybe in a year we'll bring it back. What? See.
Have you tried duck eggs if you can get that?
Yeah, I did try even goose eggs, but that
Oh,
was fun, yes, last year. But I just like I really want to heal before I have experiment more. Um,
yeah.
so do you have any struggles that when you just starting carnivore diet?
I guess I did feel like all of the social kind of things, like, what am I gonna do now? I'm gonna be like that. Uh, I was already struggling so much socially, and now I'm gonna be that weird guy eating only meat. How am I gonna cope with this in social settings and all of that? And I did feel like I always had to explain myself to people in the beginning, and I felt like people were like judging me and looking at me strangely and all that sort of thing. Maybe they were, uh, but after a while on that sort of thing, I just realized, you know what? This is a thing I'm doing for myself. I'm not doing this for all of them, any of them. And the right people in your life will respect your choice in what you do for your health anyway. So that's kind of the mindset thing I had to get over before I just didn't care anymore now.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
you are living with yourself 24/7 day, so you are constantly feeling, do you want to go back and then just be angry, but you can social? You didn't even be able to social, you know. So I like about how carnivore community is so, getting bigger and bigger, and I feel we learn from each other. But in the beginning, do you have any acid reflux or any heart palpitations, those symptoms? And because it can be a little bit daunting in the beginning, especially for me in the beginning, I was like, what is that normal? And what's so do you have any kind of situations or
Okay, so those issues are actually more things I struggled with before this whole thing, but I didn't really experience any problems in the beginning. Uh, but I think maybe it's because I had this like slow transition over many weeks. And when I look back at what I did, it was basically just intuitively going through like the whole low carb, keto war thing until I was carnivore, right? And I think that really helped my body adjust and adapt to the whole fat burning thing. So I think that's the reason I didn't really experience anything, except for the coffee that did, which I had in the beginning, did sometimes give me issues. It felt like it kind of built up, and then after 3 weeks, maybe, I felt a little bit of constipation. And then when it went away, it was okay. And then 3 weeks, and then it's come, but not like nowhere close to how bad it used to be. Right? So that's the only thing I can think of, really. Maybe some oxalate dumping symptoms now and again, like a little bit of feeling weird in the stomach, and maybe some skin outbreaks once in a while, but nothing that bad. Yeah.
What changes did you see in the carnivore diet, either positive or negative? I know you already healed your IBS and all the symptom like mental health, but what did you gain more than what you was thinking, what you had before?
Oh, okay. uh, Yeah, I mean, for me, I feel like I keep discovering more and more things that like, oh, this is better too. Like when I go on social media, right, and see you talking or someone else, right, in the carnivore community, and they mention, oh, I used to have this thing, and it just seems to be all gone. And then I realize, wait a second, I also used to have that thing. I didn't even realize until now when someone else mentioned it that, oh, that's gone. Uh, but like negative things, like the only negative things were like those sort of things like the social life thing, like, but that I mentioned, but all of those negative sort of aspects were things that went away with changing my mindset and just realizing I'm doing this for myself. I'm not here to like look after anyone else. I'm doing this eating for my own health. Um, so I don't know. I can't think of any negative things that came with it, but it's crazy the amount of things that get better, like just your energy, you sleep better. I also recently realized I used to have like this thing called Raynaud's syndrome, like what's like where your fingers go all white. Like I think some people call it corpse fingers or something. Uh, and they say that thing is uncurable, that it can't go away. It's just genetic or whatever. Well, I don't have it anymore. So,
So it's not circulations?
well, I guess it could be something about that's what they say, right? That it's something about bad circulation in your fingers and hands. But
Yeah.
I guess, maybe do have that. That might be true, but I'm guessing that the carnivore diet improves your circulation so much it doesn't really, I haven't really noticed it, at least, like any symptoms of it.
Hands sometimes will tell us, like people say, your feet and your hand have the lot of nerves that it can tell you what your body, what your whole body is that proper functions
Yeah.
or any problems. Because in Taiwan's Chinese medicines, that they will like hold your pulse and then just listen to your body and to see what happened in your body. Are you feeling well? So yeah, sometimes our hand can tell us the are you doing the right things or not. So I'm so glad that it has went away. What are the advice that would you like to tell audience?
What I want people to know is don't, or you might have already fallen into that same trap I was and many others where you think all of your health problems that they're just that you just drew an unlucky straw in life. You just ended up there because you were unlucky and you can't really do anything about it. I guess I have to take all these medications and then, oh, whoopsie, those medications give me side effects that I need other medications and all that. If you've fallen into that trap, just realize it's not necessarily so. you can just go look at all the stories and like carnivores and that all the amazing things that just seem to go completely go away and just start realizing, educate yourself and realize that the power of is actually in your own hands to control your own health, that you have the power to change it. You just have to actually take that step. Like I can stand here and tell you all I want. I can tell you my story. I can tell you you should be doing this and you should be doing that, and this will fix all your problems. But I can't really force you to listen to me. I can't force you to believe me when I'm telling my story. But I can make sure that my story is out there for people to hear it and take it in if they want to. Like I think that the word choice is very important because people can say a lot on the internet, but the choice of actually making the change is actually in your hands. I can't do that for you. And I believe going to a carnivore diet, or at least a meat heavy diet, the closest you can to a carnivore diet, I think the earlier you do that in your life, the better off you'll be. That's what I want to say.
Well said, well said. It's gonna inspire a lot of people for sure because you know how we can feel better, how in your story that we thought we are meant to be, we thought we are supposed to be like this, but it's all because our decisions. Do you wanna be better or eating the junk food? Or which or you know just not the foods that your body doesn't like because you know for fruit and for vegetables some people can tolerate that, go ahead, those are still healthy food, but do you want to do what's the choices that you make for yourself to be able to perform the best of yourself for sure. What are the social media that people can find you?
My social media, it's mainly on Instagram and YouTube. So on YouTube, it's Norse Carnivore, Norse, and then Carnivore. And then on Instagram, it's the same, but with like an underscore in between Norse and Carnivore.
Yeah, I will for sure put it in the descriptions. But okay. Thank you very much, Jonathan. And I'm so glad your story gonna inspire a lot of people. And we are here for.
Thank you so much for having me on, Aviva. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.